going to be my first video for 2019, and well, it's a 1953 Ford. Now you're gonna say, but haven't you built about 4 of those already? Yes, I did, but I have this thing that makes me enjoy building multiples of the same kit, and well, that's the thing I have. And this one was built to replicate the kind of modified car you would have in Brazil in the late 50s and early 60s. And I had plenty of information on those, as my grandfather, Mr. Ennio Lazzaroni, had a garage in this time, and his primary focus was mechanical repair and crash repair, and he also used to do some modifications on cars. And what I did with this 53 Ford is to replicate the kind of thing he used to do in this time period. So here we are. Here we have my victim. Good old 53 Ford. There we go. The car itself is quite sporty looking, as it is a beautiful convertible, but that was not enough for the young guys, and they used to ask my grandfather to do this kind of modification, that is to remove most of the chrome, to repaint the car in a trending color or on a color that was successful on a new car, and basically to make the car to look meaner by removing stuff instead of adding stuff, like many of today's tuners like to do. They add things to the car, and back in that time they liked to actually take things away from the car. This kit, if you have built these Lindberg kits or AMT kits, as the AMT rebadged the Lindberg kit, you know that the body has some recesses here and here to receive the side chrome spears. So to dechrome this kit is a bit of work, as you have to actually fill the recesses with something that will not shrink and with something that will not create maps on the paint after the job is done. And the maps, or ghost images, like I like to refer to them, is a very subtle image showing where the trim was, as the material you use to fill the thing kind of shrinks. And one thing that I tried with some die-cast cars modifications I used to do when I was a kid is that epoxy putty that we have here in Brazil called Durepoxy just won't shrink and adheres to the plastic very well. So instead of gluing the plastic trim to the body and sending the trim off and then using some regular modeling putty to level things, what I did was to actually fill the recesses with Durepoxy, that is a 2-part epoxy putty, that is similar to milliput, I think. I remember seeing a video where a guy was using a two-part epoxy putty called milliput, and I think it was very close to what the Dur epoxy is. So I filled the recesses on the body with Dur epoxy, sanded them out, redid here the body, the panel line, and after that I just used a little Tamiya putty, the white one, to give the body a final level off, and after that I painted it as I would with any normal body. And well, this car was built in late October, and just now I'm having the chance to show you guys, and from October until now nothing has shown. Let me try to show you guys. There is no evidence of the trim. This is the part I'm actually less happy about, this chrome part here. That on the real car it just covers the front of this design on the bumper, on the quarter panel. It is a stainless piece that just covers the stamped steel on the quarter panel, and that side spear actually goes on top of this part. So to accurately dechrome this car, you had two choices. You would eliminate this part by eliminating the chrome but gluing it in place and blending it with the fender. That would be harder. Or just eliminating the spear from this little detail, and that was hard, and I am not very happy with the final appearance of the side spear, of the side chrome molding, as one can still see where the spear was on this chrome part. Well, I did my best, but I couldn't really make it look perfect as I wanted to. Oh, this car is full of fingerprints. Good thing I'm using the camera, because without the camera I would never see those fingerprints. I have to wax it. If you don't know, guys, avoid leaving and putting your models away with fingerprints, because the oil on your skin will be very bad for the paint, especially for modeling paint. And this car was not painted with modeling paint. It was painted with a automotive synthetic enamel that was designed to paint real cars. And even though I'm kind of worried now, I have to give it a little wax to remove the fingerprints and the oils from the skin. But back to the model. Other than just dechroming the sides and the hood and removing the rear badge on the trunk, the body is stuck. I didn't do anything else to the body. The suspension, though, was lowered. Let me try to show it. Oops. There goes the hood. Front suspension was lowered by cutting the springs and pressing the lower A-arms further and gluing the wheels on shortened spindles to make the front suspension lower, and also to avoid that the lower A arms would hang too much and almost touch the ground. If I hadn't cut the spring and shortened the spindle and bent the A arm inwards to kind of replicate what the real suspension would do, by getting the suspension to this high, the A arm would be almost touching the ground, and that's not cool. On the back, I don't have enough light. I have to work on the lighting on my videos. The rear suspension was lowered with playing lowering blocks. I just used the lowering blocks on the axle. There it is. I used a pair of lowering blocks to get the rear suspension low, and I used some Molotov to chrome the differential carrier on the rear axle, and I replaced the stock exhaust by a couple of glass packs. Those glass packs were made out of sprue, and they are branded Cadron, as Cadron was in the 60s a very popular brand of glass pack here in Brazil. And I believe they still manufacture exhaust parts. If I'm not mistaken, the glass packs on my 74 Galaxy are Cadrons, but I'm not positive, as I had them installed about 10 years ago, and I don't recall, but I'm almost positive they are Cadrons, and they are quite nicely made glass packs. And they were the choice because the only other options were the Smiths glass packs that were imported, and they were very expensive at the time. The engine bay was just given a more sporty look by replacing the heads with aftermarket heads that are finned. The intake manifold was scratch built to accommodate two Stromberg carburetors, and those air filters are actually from the AMT 1936 Ford kit. The Beehive oil filter was machined on my Dremel, and it's just one of the big sprues from this kit. There are some pieces of the sprue that are bigger, and I machined them on the Dremel to look like an oil filter, and I used Molotov paint to paint them, and after that I just black washed the heads and the oil filter. All the chrome here under the hood was done with the Molotov pen, and I gave it a coat of Testors acrylic gloss varnish, and it gives a very little dulling effect to the chrome, and I really like it looks like real chrome, and protects because the Molotov chrome is quite fragile. All other chrome on the car is foil or chrome from the kit. Here on the sides I didn't use the Molotov because I would wax the car about once a year, and I also do that. I used to wax my models once a year to keep the them protected from the fingerprints, and here it wouldn't resist. It would damage the chrome eventually, so I used foil to foil those parts, and that just added to their imperfection. The wheels are resin. The baby moons are from the 56 Ford kit, and the tires are originals from this kit. The interior was just painted red to simulate a custom red leather interior. I installed a few gouges there under the dash, and this sporty mirror here on the side is the tack that comes with the AMT 56 Ford kit, and it looks just like a Formula 1 rear view mirror from the 60s. And I am referring to the Formula 1 brand of mirrors that was available to here in Brazil, and they were manufactured here. Those mirrors, just like this one, were manufactured here by Emerson Fittipaldi. If you didn't know, Emerson Fittipaldi is from Brazil, and he also manufactured some very cool steering wheels and other accessories under the brand Formula 1. I have some ads on old magazines, and his accessories were kind of really nice. Well guys, this is the last model from 2018 that I hadn't shown you, and it's full of cat's hair, but I'll clean it. And well, all in all, I hope you guys liked it. I tried my best to replicate the period modified car, and there's a modification that on the 1/1 scale car could be undone and the car to be stock again with just a new paint job and reopening the holes for the trim and restoring the suspension and installing the original interior, and voila, the car is a stock again. Another thing I copied from the pictures that my grandfather has is the license plate. If you are from Brazil, you will understand the numbers: 13 65 65 13. It is from the state of Guanabara. The state of Guanabara no longer exists. It was merged with the state of Rio de Janeiro, and Rio de Janeiro is not only a city, it is a state, of which the city of Rio de Janeiro is the capital. And so this car is from before the state of Guanabara no longer existed anymore. Well guys, oh, almost forgot, I also built the top up for this car, but I used a little bit of white glue to glue the boot on the car, so I wouldn't be losing it. I always do that when I build a convertible. I usually take pictures with both with the boot and with the up top, and then I glue one of them to the car with white glue, so it can be removed afterwards if I decide so, with just a little bit of water. And I did that to avoid damaging the tops by one being scratching the other inside the box as I keep the built models inside their boxes. Well guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and Happy New Year to all of you guys, and bye bye.